Welcome to CSC 220. It's Friday, right before Labor Day, the extended holiday Labor Day weekend. And this is going to be hands-on and practical and kind of a working session. So I'll do and demonstrate things, and I'd ask you to do and demonstrate things on your system as we do it. What we'd like to do is bring some life to your assignments and the solution. Now, in particular, your host capacity, as you're getting ready to engage the solution, I want to be clear about this. The intention is to capture information and then log 5 points. So what we want you to do is to capture specific information about your home network environment and your connected devices in the home network environment. That's the intent of what you see on the screen right here for your solution. But that's not where it ends. After you submit, I will be having a one-on-one dialogue with you about practical things that you can do to make life more stable, more secure, more reliable in your home Wi-Fi environment. Okay, we're going to walk through some of that and demonstrate some things today. And then we'll open it up so that if you have questions or challenges with an assignment or your solution, basically we'll have some time remaining for you to share your screen so we can work through it. So it's kind of a workshop, kind of a demo session, sort of a show and tell. And earlier this morning, we did something similar in the network forensics class, and now I'm on the hook to buy lunch for everybody who was in the room. You're going to have an opportunity for that, just not today, because I'd like to stay married. In any case, let's continue. What I'd like to do now is kind of change the view. So I'd like to change the view, and I want to walk around and show and share some things before we get into the rest of it. So can everybody see the big screen?
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you see sitting on the table there?
Microwave? This
is a microwave. Yes. And it's the microwave from upstairs. And what we're going to have to do is go ahead and work with it. And then I might have to stop the class to bring it up there in case somebody upstairs in the kitchen goes, hey, who did something with the microwave? I also have a smartphone, and it's tuned in right now. So it's kind of weird because I have an infinite series. I'm seeing myself on my screen. And as I move my view of myself, it's actually like replicating down the line. It's kind of a cool thing. I don't know if you've ever seen that before. But the reason I'm going to be sharing my screen in just a moment is because I want to share with you an app that's going to measure Wi-Fi signals. And so we're going to create two scenarios. Over here to the side, where you can't see, just off the view, is the Aruba Wi-Fi access point. And what I've done is moved it a little bit because right next to it, I have something else. Out of my office, I have unused, and I'm going to ask Milrain to verify, are the factory seals still not on this? This is an Airport Express. It's an Apple Airport Express. It's a simple, unmanaged consumer Wi-Fi access point. And what I'm going to do is show you the effect of interference, right? So the scope of our interest here in Intro to Cyber is going to be a little different than what we did in network forensics. But what we'd like to do is show you the effects that impact the environmental factors that impact availability. It's not intuitive for us to think that Wi-Fi signal is physical, but it's a radio wave. And this microwave, if it has faulty or leaky enclosure, when I use it first without the food and then with the food, what we may see is a difference in the response for the app as it measures the signal strength. Now, before we get into all this, I just want to mention that you should take whatever form factor your Wi-Fi access point presents in your home environment. You should update the firmware. So after you submit your solution, I'll come back to you. And one of the things I might say is hey, you need to update the firmware, because if this has been sitting in a box for 2 years, factory sealed, I guarantee you that there's many new versions of firmware that have come out from Apple for this Wi-Fi access point, okay? The second thing you should do is you should ensure that you set up the guest Wi-Fi in your home, okay? So one of the standing recommendations we're gonna make is be sure that you always set up the guest Wi-Fi for your home environment. And if you don't, then you should run, don't walk, run back home tonight, do it as fast as possible, then change the passphrase for your existing Wi-Fi, because as you're going to see soon, in just a moment, I'm going to share some other screenshots of stuff that you woulda, coulda, shoulda, or may have encountered, similar things that you may have encountered when you were working your prep with the 1.2 assignment, right? The optimizing your personal technology assignment. Can you do me a favor and remind me after we do the demo that I need to show and share the stuff from the optimizing your personal technology? Because I found some excellent examples of OMG, or more like WTH. I want to say F there, but anyway, WTH, you know. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the microwave test first. I'm going to walk over by Milrain, who's here, while he's connected to the Wi-Fi, and I'm going to see what happens when I get near and away from other Wi-Fi clients. And we're going to take a look at the screen. Now, the app, oh, the other thing that you should do is your Wi-Fi access point should be on battery backup. If it's connected with a cable to the service provider, you should check the cable for loose connectors, physical layer, physical layer, physical layer. If you have a battery backup and you want more available service, the other thing you got to do is make sure your battery backup is plugged into an outlet that has a ground, because it won't work if it doesn't have a ground. So those are helpful hints where you can make little changes, and those little changes can make huge differences in your own network availability. Now, I'm going to share the screen here. So I'm going to stop with the view of the camera. Well, I'll try to engage this now. So I'm going to try to engage my screen here. And okay, this is working a whole lot better than this morning. You'll see I have an app from the Google Play Store. Everybody sees this, right, on the screen? Mm-hmm. And the Google app is called the Wi-Fi Analyzer. It's this one right here, right? This one right here, Wi-Fi Analyzer. And this is the free version, and there's a pro version. But on my Google Pixel 7 Pro, a student in the 9 o'clock class said, hey, if you're in developer mode, there are some other settings that you can change to increase the sensitivity and refresh rate of the readings that this thing has. And it actually did quite a job, right? And what we discovered is that if we do this mode, that's really busy. I have all this signal. I'm in the 2.4 gigahertz range. If I'm on the 6 gigahertz range, here's the 5 gigahertz range. That's kind of busy. It's hard to track that. If I go 6 gig, we don't have any Wi-Fi 6 running anywhere. Okay, but you could have in your home if you got the latest, greatest, right? This view tends to be a lot better. So let's look at the 2.4, and I'm going to go to dial mode. I call this dial mode. And what this is going to do is it's going to show in real time what my Wi-Fi signals are tracking. And you see some of them moving here. I want you to notice that the HP printers are trying to connect directly with clients. And if you have ad hoc or peer-to-peer wireless in your network, one thing that you can do in your home to improve the reliability and dependability of your wireless is you turn off peer-to-peer, you turn off ad hoc. Don't let devices connect directly to your HP. Instead, connect your HP to your wireless router. And then find your HP on the wireless network while you're connected through the wireless router, okay? So you don't want to correct, you don't want that part of the HP printer to be active. But there may be other devices, other smart devices in your neighborhood, right? So there may be things like, I don't know, an Amazon Fire TV, right? Or an Apple TV. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start walking around. And as I start walking around, we may see some differences. I'm going to fire up the microwave. Then I'm going to cook some food in the microwave to see if there's a noticeable difference here. Notice the spicy grill. Just a shout out to the spicy grill. Wow, do they have Wi-Fi? Because that's the next street over.
Yeah.
So it's going through their building, across the field, through our wall, into this classroom, and here's the spicy grill, right? Now that's good and that's bad. It may not be a good idea if your home is seen in the entire neighborhood. So people can reach out and touch it from in their leisure time, right? Just saying. Notice that there's more than one Bucks Wi-Fi, right? And see, as I'm moving around, some of these dials are changing. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is stop and set up the microwave. And then I'm going to hold the phone down here, and I want you to see what happens to the screen. The important thing is to find the most prominent signals. The lower the number, the stronger the signal. So actually at the bottom where it says Bucks Wi-Fi minus 51, and now it's changing again, those are stronger signals. The HP Office Jet could be nearby in some faculty office, which is why it's showing 61 all the time. So these aren't listed in order of strongest signal. There's a hidden SSD with a strength of 50. That could be a hotspot, right? So somebody has a mobile hotspot and they're not showing or sharing that. But the RTP guest Wi-Fi is actually very healthy. So the lower the number, the stronger, and the RTP exec. Now Bucks Wi-Fi is cycling in and out, and we're going to do some things to impact this. Now, one of the things that we can conclude is that if we fire off that microwave right here, and there are dramatic changes, that's not a good sign as far as what your microwave is doing in your environment, okay? So does everybody understand what we're looking for here? Okay, so I'm going to park this over here in a place where we'll let it get stable for a minute. So I've got it over on the side where I'm going to plug in my microwave, and I'm just going to beam the microwave. I'll zap 30 seconds worth of stuff here. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is just have a seat and hold this. So I'm going to go ahead after this gets settled. Now, here's a question. Should we be looking at dials that are changing all the time? Or if we're looking for an indication that the microwave is leaky, should we be looking at dials that aren't changing? Which should we look at?
Dials that are changing.
Well, the dials that are changing might change more, but we don't know if they're changing because they're just changing all the time. If we have unmoving dials, like right now, the HP is sitting at 50 to 60. It's not changing much, but if I hit this button, if I hit this button and I start to see a lot of changes, that might mean that the microwave energy is affecting my Wi-Fi.
Oh,
Oh, wow. Did everybody see what happened?
yeah.
We're recording, aren't we? I think we're recording.
So I don't think you ended the recording yet.
Yeah, I think we're recording. Yeah, we're recording. So if you watch, after a minute, when the microwave started to really work the cycle, suddenly the number of access points in the area disappeared. I'm going to repeat the same thing after I put my lunch in there. So I've got some chicken casserole with cheese, a lot of protein, a lot of water. So it's going to tend to give the microwave a workout. And I want to see what happens. I'll take the lid off here and I'll zap it the same way and we'll see what happens in just a second, okay? So here we are. I've got my listing back. There's the spicy grill again, okay? It looks like our HP printer is relatively stable, around 50 or 60. I'm going to hit enter for 30 seconds. Now the microwave is going. I want to see if half of my list disappears again.
Right.
And that's significant if it doesn't. So the turntable is rotating inside there. The conditions, the physical conditions inside the microwave are changing. This is about the time in the 30-second cycle where never lost the Wi-Fi. So what's happening here, and my wife is, yeah, you just caught that message from my wife. Yeah, she's going swimming. I married a mermaid. She has to get in the water every day. Hi, sweetie, enjoy the water. I hope you're happy after you get out of the water. All right, well, moving right along.
Well, that's interesting. So you're thinking the conditions of putting the food in a microwave really changed things so dramatically that none of the signals got lost?
Yes, Milrain said, do I think that putting the food in there made such a difference? Well, the purpose of the microwave is to heat the contents inside the container, inside the cabinet, right? So if we put a chunk of food in there, a significant, I mean, if I put like a little Snickers bite in there, a little tiny thing, right? There wouldn't be much absorbing the microwaves. But if I have food in there and the microwaves are bouncing around at first, but now they're getting soaked into the food, they're not getting outside the cabinet.
Okay.
So that could be a part of the way this particular microwave was engineered. It's like, okay, for the enclosure that we've built, we've minimized the materials around it to market a less expensive microwave, right? There's not as much steel that goes into it. There's not as much stuff to shield it. But if you're really doing what you're supposed to with a microwave, like there's something in it you're trying to heat up, then you're not going to have excess radiation. But the fact that you would run it without anything in there and then, oh, watch, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. What I'm going to do now is walk over here. Is your laptop live?
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do is walk over here and I'm going to get really close to Milrain's laptop, which is like, go ahead and browse something. Pull up a YouTube channel or something favorite. So here I am over on the other side of the thing, and Spicy Grill should get much stronger now, and it is. Or not.
I'm playing with you, but I have it on mute.
So he's pulling something from the Wi-Fi. I'm going to stand between him and the wireless access point now. So I was standing on the far side, and now he's playing a YouTube video, and between him and I is the wireless access point. I want to see if there's more activity there. And it doesn't help that I'm moving this around in different ways, right? So I could turn the phone differently to see if that's going to generate an effect, like the antenna position. Oh. Yeah, there seems to be some stuff, and that's with Buck's Wi-Fi. See, the Buck's Wi-Fi is all over the map now, while Milrain is right next to me, and he's pulling the video. So that's an interesting effect.
Yeah, two of those signals went way down.
Yeah, way down. But now, let's talk about this a minute. The Bucks Wi-Fi is a managed network, which means that as students are moving around and doing things, if a class gets out, then all of the users are leaving a classroom. So if they were saturating the Wi-Fi signal from one access point, the managed system is supposed to work and adjust. And so as they move and they take up elsewhere, like the bookstore or the cafeteria, you're going to see fluctuations, and that's normal. I just want to point out that a lot of motion and adjustment in a campus setting with an enterprise wireless scenario, that's actually what we're supposed to see in real time. The real question is whether or not you can induce changes. So when you go to your home, if you have a Fire TV and a smart TV and nobody else is using the internet, but then you pop popcorn and suddenly, you know, the screen gets fuzzy and the bandwidth is suffering, that tells you it's time to replace your microphone. I mean, your microwave. Yeah. Now, let's see what happens if we induce a wireless access point next to the enterprise wireless access point. So we have an Aruba over here on a chair, and I'm going to park this right here, and I'm going to see if by parking it right here, I'm going to try to turn this so I can get, let's see if I can get a really strong Bucks Wi-Fi. And let me reduce this. Were we covering up the dials before with this view? No, well, the dials were on the screen, I think. Pretty much. Let's see if we can close the ad. Yeah, all right. So that Bucks Wi-Fi, it says it's 12 meters away. This Bucks Wi-Fi is 100, it's 31 meters away. There's another one down toward the, oh, that's 7 meters away. So this is the one we're going to want to watch. Right here, the one that's closer, it's 55 on the dial. So the lower the number on the dial, the stronger the signal. And I'm parked right in, oh, that's good. Or it was good. Hold on. The Bucks Wi-Fi that says it's 2 meters away, there it is. Can everybody see?
Yeah.
46. And what we want is for that Bucks Wi-Fi. Oh, now every time,
Is it because
every time I'm walking around, I wonder if like I have an electromagnetic field in the way. This is kind of like ghost hunters, right? It gets interesting. Do humans have an electromagnetic field around them? Actually, there's research that says yes. It's what sharks can detect in the water at close distances using sensory organs known as ampullae of Lorenzini. But we're not going to talk about that right now. What we're going to do is unseal the factory Wi-Fi provided by Apple. And this thing is going to act like it's in a home. And we're going to plug it in and park it right next to the Aruba. And we're going to see what the effect is on our 48 decibel signal from the Bucks Wi-Fi, which kind of keeps moving around there. Okay. So I plugged this into the wall. I'm over here now. And maybe you can see me here a little bit. I'm gonna plug it in. And I have a green light, and I'm gonna sit it right across from, like right here. I get another chair. And then park this like right there and see what happens. Now, one of the things that really causes problems is something called rogue Wi-Fi access points. So in the home environment, remember I said what you need to do, everyone needs to set up a guest Wi-Fi network. The last thing you want your guests to do is to take out their phone, and depending on the hardware capacity of their phone, some smartphone owners are privileged to possess the baddest mobile technology on the planet right now. You have a 16 Pro Max iPhone, or you have this just in, Google Pixel 8, or a Samsung, what are we on now, 23, 24, S24 on steroids, right? S24 squared. What's going to happen is that these multi-core, packed with RAM, huge hard disks, they've got lots of storage space, they're going to generate quite a field. And so what you're seeing here is that the Bucks Wi-Fi has adapted. The Aruba has adapted, and what we should see instead is that, or what we would likely see is that there'd be a problem. Now, a managed wireless enterprise environment, that's proof that the wireless management at the campus is doing its job. And it could be that a change in channel, so these frequencies also occupy channels. There's multiplexing going on, so it can be on different channels. If it senses that there's a Wi-Fi access point right here, and it's sitting on channel 1, it could say, okay, I'm not going to be in the low numbers. I'm not on 2 or 3 anymore. I'm gonna take up channel 14, or I'll take up channel 7, right? The other thing that's happening too is I just plugged this in. I haven't configured it yet, and I'm not using it heavily. So there is a chance that this could create interference. Our other Wi-Fi access point could create other interference, but it's not likely because the Aruba has intelligent management as a part of this. So that's actually a very encouraging thing. But I want you to remember the microwave wielded an effect, okay? So another access point in the mix, it's working adjustments. Does your home Wi-Fi do this? No, nowhere near as much, okay? So if we look at the spicy grill instead, like if I stand here on the other side of this, so now I'm in close to both of these. Let's just look. I want to see if I can even see the spicy grill. Well, so far, oh, the dial just dropped. Everybody see?
Yeah.
The dial just dropped off. I can still see the HP printers. Yeah, no. So it's like it's fighting. Spicy Grill is fighting. The RT Park exec and the RT Park guest is fluctuating. Hidden SSID is running around there. What should you expect in your home? Is your home an environment where you have multiple users and they're all using different devices and standards and they're all in close proximity to each other? Not likely. If they're all connected to the same wireless access point, it should be a much simpler picture. Mm-hmm. But once again, this tool is called the Wi-Fi Analyzer, and there's probably an equivalent for Mac users. There was a really good one, and then they lobotomized it because they didn't want people to do Mac spoofing, which is
very secret.
Yeah, so it was a very good app, and I don't have an iPhone in front of me, so I can't tell you what it is, but I'll go ahead and unplug this now and put this back. I have spare Airport Express access points, and if you're having problems with your Wi-Fi signal at home and you'd like to work an experiment, there's a way to tie the two together with an Ethernet cord. So there is an Ethernet jack here. And if you'd like, you can work some simple experiments to see whether or not it would help before you run out and pay $200 for a new access point at the store. But what I'd like to do at this point is take the time remaining to just show and share some quick details with you. Are there any questions or comments that anyone would care to share about what we've demonstrated at this point?
No, not really.
Okay. I'm going to insert a thumb drive and then show you something off my thumb drive that I picked up from another machine in the next room. And can everybody see this?
The Windows update screen?
Yes. So this is the Office workstation. The Office workstation is supposed to automatically load updates. And this is proof that, lo and behold, even if you're in a managed network environment and they're supposed to load, they don't always load.
Wait, hold on. I don't see anything.
Okay. How about now?
Okay, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for calling that out. A good catch. So yeah, I hate it when I'm talking through some things and others are seeing the big screen in here, but they're not seeing it on the screen. So this is an example of something that hit today. And what's the date today? What's the date today?
September 1st.
September 1st. And what is this that's loading? The cumulative update for which month?
August.
August. This should have loaded like at the beginning of August. And it was an Office system here at UVI, but you know how things go into sleep and then they wake up sometimes? This is just something I wanted to share with you. This is an example of how optimizing your personal technology and doing things manually. If it says you have no more updates, can I share with you that one of the biggest, nastiest surprises of your life is if you reboot and then you run updates again, there are updates to the updates. Did you know that? Like if you haven't run updates in a long time, it'll say, oh, you have no more. And then you're like, that was too easy because I haven't run updates for over a year. So you reboot your system and then it goes, oh, here's some more updates. So there's updates to the updates to the updates to the updates. You want to wear it out until what you see is the current month. But here's something else to consider. Sometimes the apps that are always inserting themselves, right? What's the default app when you install a browser on your system? Unless you tell your system, I really want to use Firefox. I really want to use Chrome. On a Windows system, what do you get if you don't switch the default app?
Get Edge.
It's Edge. And you would think that Edge updates would be a part of what's going on. And why would you think that the Edge browser update should be automatic? Oh, I don't know. It's because in this window right here under updates, are you ready for this? I picked the advanced options and I have turned on receive updates for other Microsoft products, right? I've done my part. I turned this on. I said, if I have Office installed, if I have Edge, I want those to update, right? No, didn't happen. This is this morning. I went up to the ellipse, I clicked about Edge, and it goes, oh, we have to update Edge, right? But it gets better. Here's a popular app. It plays video. It's free. You can download this from the Microsoft Store, or you can go out to a place like CNET Downloads, cnet.com, Charlie November Echo Tango.com, and then there's a downloads. So it's cnet.com downloads. They offer open source, free to use applications. Free is good. But do you notice what it's asking here and what the default is? Allow metadata network access. Does anybody know what that means? Would anybody care to guess what that means? Those are the default settings. So I have to use VLC if I'm going to play video in this classroom. If I have a video file like an MP4, it won't play because this is a professional edition of Windows 10. So it doesn't have the cool consumer stuff, right? It's not going to open up Media Player or something like that. So it's kind of a drag. And let's face it, on some devices, you would rather your videos play in another app instead of the default app, right? Because sometimes the default app is squirrely. This is actually a really good one. Metadata network access means we're going to talk to the mothership in the background because we want to be able to figure out what's going on in case there's something happening. But for a free app, is that something that you would want? In fact, here's the truth. If I do GRC shields up and I start getting blue or red squares on GRC shields up, does everybody know what I mean by GRC shields up? You've all gone to GRC shields up. You've run because you got to do it for your solution, right? Did you know that if you start seeing those blue squares, one of them might be open because of this right here? Because this app says, oh yeah, I want to talk to the mothership. And you agreed to it. All you did was click continue. Oh, but here's another thing. If it's an app you're using, they have different update schedules too. This is a brand new, I loaded it this morning application. Let me say that again. I went to the source of this. I downloaded the latest, and then I started it and checked for updates. Do you think anyone would expect there's an update already available? If I just installed it at 9 o'clock this morning, what are the odds that by 10 o'clock this morning, they would come out with a new version? Do you think that's likely? It's
No,
not
probably not.
It's not very likely. What happened instead is the places that are giving away their free software aren't giving away the latest version. But we think this is the latest version. So why did we walk through so many steps on the optimizing your personal technology? Hey, update. If you have apps in a list and you don't know what they are or you don't use them, get rid of them, right? Don't. A real nasty one is Adobe Acrobat Reader. If you install that, there's a little install thing that loads, and when it loads, there's a little checkbox down at the bottom of the screen that says, oh, install McAfee virus free. And if you don't uncheck it, all of a sudden you have an extra antivirus program on your system. And what does that do to your availability? This is a visual here. I'm going to stop sharing so you can see this. Let's say I have Windows Defender, yes? And let's say I've now loaded a free antivirus, yes? What do you think they're both doing?
Crashing?
Yeah, they're clashing. Now, I guarantee you that the antivirus vendor, the publisher of that software is going to say, oh, no, that's an oversimplification and that's not really doing that doesn't do us any justice. Of course, we would, when we load our free, then we would disable Defender. But then there's a little barky 90 days later in your system tray. So if you look in the bottom right corner of your system tray, it'll say, oh, do you want to, your trial is over. Would you like to upgrade to the premium version? It's only $29.99 per year or something like that, right? How many of us whip out a credit card and go, oh yeah, I want to spend money needlessly right now? Our thinking is, wait a minute, that antivirus is free. And besides that, there's free antivirus on that. How many of us actually spend extra right then and there? The answer is we don't. But then we have outdated free stuff that's supposed to protect us, and it doesn't really because it's not updating anymore, right? So it's kind of a trap. You have to be careful you don't get hitchhikers. That's why you get into the control panel programs and features screen to take a look at, okay, what's in here. So if you have it, you should want it, you should update it. If you don't know what it is, you should uninstall it. And what I'd like to do now is just return to this and ask, are we still sharing the screen or no? We are. Here we go. In the time remaining, would anyone care to share a challenge or an issue that you have encountered in the course of working your assignments on the solution? And we can pause the recording or halt the recording. We can stop sharing the screen. At this point, you can stay in the session. If you don't have any questions or concerns, at this point, you're free to clear. I hope you enjoy the Labor Day holiday weekend. On the other side of the Labor Day holiday weekend, I will need to see what your results are for the Module 1 solution. So right away, early next week, I'm going to have a one-on-one conversation with you and say, oh, I noticed when you submitted the results for this, the GRC and the other information in this Nmap and Nstat, let's look at it. Because what we could find is that there are devices or smart appliances in your home, and you need to update the firmware, or you need to turn some features off. In fact, sometimes it's better to connect an appliance with a cable. Earlier this morning in a related class, in the network forensics class, somebody asked, hey, if I don't want my wireless printer to be barking at everybody, can I just disable the wireless? And if I do that, can I still print to it as long as I connect a cable? And the short answer is, oh yes, you can connect it to a PC or a system and have a lot more control over it. But regardless, if you don't have guest Wi-Fi set up, set it up now, today. And if you don't have access to your wireless router, send me an email that says you don't have access and I'll help you get in there. I will help you hack your home wireless environment to improve the security and the reliability. We'll stop sharing and recording. Goodbye for now, but stay in the session if you'd like some hands-on assistance with anything.